911, what's your emergency? 911, what's your emergency?
Be advised, Car 4 has control of the pursuit. Proceed with caution.
Hey everybody, how are you? I have to admit, I never get tired of listening to Tech Death. He is incredible, you guys. I could listen to him for hours play. Tech Death Hippie is in the chat right now. He did my intro. He did my old intro as well. He's just fabulous. Please make sure you guys check out his channel. If you haven't, make sure you subscribe to him. His music is incredible. And I just love it. I love listening to him play. Could listen for hours. Jamie, how are you, Miss Hicks? Good to see you. Hey, Lisa, how are you? Hey, Cool Gamer, welcome. Hi, John, how are you? Hey, Mitzi, good to see you, my dear. Hi, Danger Dave. And of course, my sweet Tech Death. Hey, Catherine, welcome. I'm so glad that you were able to catch a live. Hang on a second. I just noticed my hashtag isn't on. There we go. I dusted my shelves and turned my light off. Oh, hey, Carol. How are you? Good to see you, you guys. I didn't advertise this one very well. I only put the thumbnail out a couple hours ago. So I was just trying to decide if I was going to go live. Should I go live? And I was like, I haven't been live, so I need to go live on my channel. And there's been a lot that happened this week. And I thought, yeah, we should talk about it. There's just so much going on. And, I sit and I watch YouTube, and I look at, there's so many new people covering the Delphi case. Wow. I'm really surprised at some of the new channels that I've never seen before covering this. But it's a case that has, become international in popularity. People are very interested in it. It's super high profile. And with everything that's been going on in it, I think it's even gotten more. Sorry, my hair's in my eye. It's gotten even more so. It's kind of at a point where I hate to say a circus, because I really have confidence in the judge in trying to control what's been going on. But I mean, there's certain decorum that is expected within the judicial system and within our courtrooms and how courts are run. And every judge has their own way of running their courtroom and what they, request and expect. And attorneys who practice in front of these judges learn real quick what's accepted and what isn't, and what behavior will be tolerated and what behaviors won't. I think Judge Gull made it quite clear last fall she wasn't going to put up with much, and it is why she enacted a gag order in this case. She was trying desperately to keep the integrity of the case intact by doing so. I don't think that she wanted this case tried in the court of public opinion. I don't think she wanted the attorneys lambasting each other in front of the cameras with the media. And it does a disservice to cases when those kinds of things happen, because evidence in any case should be presented in front of the jury, and that should be when evidence is first discovered. That's when evidence should be heard, is when the jury hears it for the first time. We don't have a right to that knowledge beforehand. And that's not how our judicial system is set up. It's not the way it's supposed to work. But in nearly all cases, stuff gets leaked because people just can't keep their hands out of things, or they want to insert themselves into a place that they don't belong. There's all kinds of reasons why people do it. I had a really good conversation on my birthday with my best friend's husband, who is a judge. I think I've told you guys all about him before. He is very well versed on this case. He and I have discussed it over the years many times, and I have talked to him at length about what's been going on with the attorneys and the judge in this case. And he had a lot to say. He cannot talk publicly about cases because, for fear of giving the profession a bad name if he was to get emotional or angry or whatever. And so he chooses to stay off of social media. He chooses to not engage in that behavior. There are good judges out there and former judges who appear all the time in the media and talk about their opinions and so forth. But he chooses not to. And I respect him for that. But yeah, he gave me a lot of insight on what's going on and how a lot of this is smoke and mirrors and a lot of it is just gameplay between attorneys. And he was very shocked that after the judge accepted the oral resignation of both of Richard Allen's attorneys in her chambers, that they walked out of that chambers and just within a day or two later were filing motions as if they had never told her that they were exiting the case. He said things like that don't happen. You don't tell the court you're going to do something and not do it. Hey, Purdue, how are you, my sweet friend? So good to see you. And they really stepped over the line of decorum and ethics and how you behave in front of a judge and the court when you are practicing in front of them. Now, they can go in the, in the realm of whatever and say that she coerced them and she sideswiped them and that she did all this and they had no knowledge. I think that is all a pack of BS. And I will stand by that. And you want to know why I feel that that is all a BS? Because she told them back on the 12th of October to stop working on Richard Allen's defense. They knew right then and there, according to my judge friend, that they were in deep kimchi. They were in deep trouble because you don't get told to stop working on a case by a judge unless something is seriously wrong. So both of those attorneys weren't blindsided by what happened on the 19th. They knew a week ahead that they're not dumb. These men pretend like they don't know, but they knew as soon as those crime scene photos were leaked by somebody connected to them that they were in big trouble. And exactly, Purdue, that is exactly why Andrew Baldwin hired an attorney, which again is another unheard of precedent. Going into court as representing your client with your attorney with you. Come on. This is like a joke. I mean, it just is a joke. So anyway, he was like, don't let the smoke and mirrors confuse what's going on here. The attorneys knew that they had done wrong. The attorneys knew that they were going to be in big trouble over this, not only because of the leaked crime scene photos under a gag order, but a man committed suicide and died because of this leak. Something that a lot of people out there, in my opinion, aren't talking about. And quite frankly, the defense needs to stand up and take responsibility. And I haven't heard them say one thing about the fact that they screwed up. And, it's like my feeling is we need to always remember that the judge in a court of law represents the law, you guys. That's what they're there for. To represent the law and to make sure that the law is followed. Now, he did tell me that she made a huge mistake on the 19th when she had Baldwin and Rosie in her chambers and did not have Richard Allen present. But he said that's not a fatal explosion or implosion of the case. All you simply do is you do a do-over. You go back into open court with the defense there and the defendant, and you do exactly what happened in chambers, which is exactly what happened on Tuesday. $63 clocks. Thank you so much for your super sticker. I so appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for supporting my channel. I appreciate you. So yeah, on Tuesday, lo and behold, there were so many questions. People were emailing and messaging. My phone was blowing up. Not only was I getting my birthday announcements and well wishes from everyone, but I was also getting the questions about what I thought was going to happen in court. Did I think for a second that Baldwin and Rosie would appear? And I was like, with everything that's been going on, yes, I expected them to be there. Did I expect them to behave in the way that they behaved? No. You guys are so sweet and kind. Oh, Jennifer, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I try so hard to do that. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes, but I do appreciate it. Thank you so much. Catherine, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. I feel really great. So thank you for saying so. Everything is moving in a downward direction, so I am good. Still losing weight, still enjoying my workouts, and I'll talk about that a little bit later on in this stream. But so I just think that we have a man who lost his life due to inept attorneys in this case. And I really believe these attorneys weren't up for the task of defending Richard Allen. And I think this is the best thing that could happen for the case, is for them to be removed. I think that one of the things that they were doing all this year was, obviously you want a good defense, and he is entitled to the best defense out there. That's what the Constitution of this grand United States affords everyone. Sadly, not everyone gets that, but he is entitled to it. And they fell short. I think egos played a huge part in this. I think that these attorneys thought we're going to make huge names for ourselves in this case, similar to how certain creators and YouTubers, and podcasters have. Hey, Rescue, how are you? So good to see you guys. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate all of you. Hey, Bev Isme, how are you? Hi, CJK, you snuck in here. So yeah, I really do feel like, in my opinion, there was a lot of ego going on here. And I think you saw that, especially from Rosie, because of how he behaved. He behaved like a spoiled child who was told by the court to do something. You know, you said you were going to, you told me you were off the case and that you would send something in writing in a couple of days. Well, boy, did he send something in writing. He did a motion throwing the judge under the bus and asking for her to recuse herself off the case. And I'm just like, whatever, guys, whatever. If that's what they want to do, and those are the kind of games that they wanted to play, it doesn't take away from justice for Abby and Libby. That is what this is all about, and we cannot lose sight of that. Richard Allen deserves the best defense. He is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law in front of 12 of his peers, which has not happened yet. He's entitled to that. And, for years and years and years, we've heard about lawyers and how lawyers get bad raps and bad names and all of this. You can see why when attorneys behave this way in such a high-profile case of murdered children. I mean, we're not talking about just any old, case here. We're talking about two innocent, beautiful children. And you cannot tell me that they care about justice. I mean, my judge friend told me that there are attorneys out there that no matter what will do whatever they can to try to get stuff leaked to the press and to the public, because they want to not only screw up the jury pool if possible, but they also want to create all this smoke and controversy and dialogue that isn't surrounding the guilt of their client. When we think about it in that way, look at what they did. I mean, look at what they did. They have everyone up in arms. Everybody believes the documents that they put out. Well, not everybody. I should say that. The Faxx motion was a joke, Dave. It was a joke. That was not a Faxx motion by any sense of the word. That was a 134-page document that they were trying to put forth their theories of what happened in this case, which is supposed to happen in front of the jury when they are doing their part of the case of the defense. A Faxx motion should be short, contrite, to the points. Item A, item B, item C, done, over with. That was a joke. And what I think is funny is my judge friend said if he was sitting on that bench, some heads would have rolled. Some people would be in jail for contempt. Because when you are going against the rules of law and how things are supposed to work just for your own benefit, because that's what that was all about. That 134-page document was all about throwing up smoke and getting people to talk about other things than Richard Allen had confessed to his wife and his mother of these crimes, which they both admitted to, both attorneys admitted to in June in court that Richard Allen had done that. They were totally and absolutely trying to get away from anyone focusing on the guilt of Richard Allen, which that's what defense attorneys are supposed to do. But there is an ethical way about going about it, and they chose the unethical way. And when attorneys behave this way, they get a reputation for it. And I guarantee you that the reason that they have basically amassed all these people that seemingly are in their corner now and working for them, the 3 attorneys out of Indianapolis that filed the motion with the Supreme Court, all of this stuff is they've amassed all of these people that are trying to come to bat for them because they have royally screwed up. And just so everyone knows, just because you put a motion before the Supreme Court doesn't mean they're going to hear it. They said they're going to take it under advisement. Yeah, they put a deadline on when they want everything, but it doesn't mean that they're going to make any judgments on this case. And people need to know that. And it is disgusting, Mitzi. I agree with this. Making a mockery of these cases is becoming all too much a common factor for defenses. And, you know, the defense can get up there in court and say whatever they want. They don't have to prove any of what they said. Remember that. They can say anything in documents that they want to. They don't have to prove any of it because it's not up to the defense to prove Richard Allen's innocence. It's up to the prosecution to prove his guilt. And just because a defense counsel writes a motion and puts all these things in a document doesn't make it real. It doesn't make it truth. It doesn't make it factual. Yes, Gail, for sure. And like I said, if you look at the motion, if you look at the response from the Supreme Court, hey, Randy, how are you, my dear? I hope you're feeling well. I hope you're doing good. It's good to see you, my friend. And I just feel that these attorneys kind of showed their underbelly. And they outright lied in court, Sleuthy Goosey. They lied to that judge because they came back and said, we didn't say we were going to quit. We didn't say we were going to. Do you not think that a judge, I mean, I just laughed that everybody has to see the transcript from what happened in chambers. Do you not think she knows she's on the record, you guys? Come on. I've got people emailing me now saying, Kristen, what is this whole thing? The Attorney General won't represent her. I didn't expect the Attorney General to represent Gull. And if anybody thought that they would, doesn't understand how this works. They have so many other pressing things to do than to represent a judge that has a motion against her. So it's like, I think it's funny that the conspiracy theorists out there just believe every single thing that the defense says. Oh, she gave him a choice. She gave them a choice. She told them, look, boys, and I'm going to put it just frankly, look, boys, you screwed up. A man is dead. You can go out in court today and we'll continue with the hearing. And the prosecution has 13 witnesses sitting out there to refute everything that you've talked about. We can go through that, or you can withdraw now, because I'm going to remove you from this case. She knows the law. She knows the law, and she knows what she's doing with the law. And if she does make mistakes, those mistakes will be challenged on appeal, you guys, on appeal. Do you know what would happen in our justice system if every single time a challenge was made to remove a judge, no case would ever be adjudicated? That's why you have the Court of Appeals. That's why defendants have the ability to appeal convictions and verdicts and motions and judgments by the court. That's what this should have happened in this scenario. But no, they had to put on this big show that they've been doing. It's pathetic. And like I said, my friend, the judge, has, he was on the bench for, oh God, over 25 years. And he was a practicing attorney privately before that. And he was also a city attorney, worked for the city as an attorney, taught law at the universities, constitutional law. He also taught other law courses. So I trust him when he talks to me about the law. And it will be interesting to see what transpires. But he told me that it will be highly unlikely, from everything that he knows about the case and what's happened, he doubts very seriously that they will rule against Judge Gull. Because at this point in time, he doesn't see that she's done anything that would warrant her removal. And like I said, it's sad for the families. Everybody has their opinions, and everybody's entitled to those, and that's totally fine. We all have our opinions, and we all can weigh in on this case, but this isn't our case. This case belongs to Abby and Libby's families. They're the loved ones that are left without their children. They're the ones who have to sit at tables without them present, or the births of new babies without them present. And it's really, really sad to think how this is affecting them. And, Rosie touted in one of his motions about the fact that they have 50 years collectively of experience. Well, then they sure the heck didn't act like it, did they? Because The number one rule of lawyering is secure the evidence. Secure the evidence. For the last year since they were appointed, there has been umpteen different leaks of information by them. Whether intentional or unintentional, it doesn't matter. It happened. And as the court appointed lawyer, because she appointed them, she can't let that stand. She cannot let that stand. Thank you, The Unraveling. How are you? Good to see you. She acted in the best way that she could as the judge to remove them and to be quick to get new appointed attorneys. I can't even imagine how she must have felt on Tuesday walking into her courtroom to sit on the bench and seeing Rosie and Baldwin seated at the defense table. I mean, that to me is just crazy that they would just walk in there and sit down like that after they'd been removed. And the new attorneys were there and they knew it. So it will be really, really interesting to see where we go from here. And what's sad about this is that we shouldn't be battling for justice like this. It's like, that's not what I said. What I said was that the Supreme Court will decide whether or not they're going to hear it. They don't have to make a ruling on this at all. The unethical part of that so-called Frank's motion, they named 5 individuals who have no charges against them. None. And they brought no evidence that these individuals were responsible. If they thought that these individuals were responsible, don't you think they should have went to the prosecutor or to the head of the ISP and said, "These guys, here's our evidence. Go arrest these guys." They don't have evidence. It's old news. I about died when I saw that. Any of us that's followed this case since day one knew about the Odinists and the Odinism and the number one named individual in that document. And I am not using their names. And anybody that tries to use them on my channel, you will be kicked and blocked because I'm not here to ruin their lives. They can't. Unfortunately, Mitzi, they can't. And that's the sad truth of it. They can't. They can't. And that's what I'm talking about, ethics. That's what I'm talking here about, ethics. They could have done that motion without making it public and making those names public for the whole world to see. How would you feel if you were one of those named individuals? Would you want to go to work the next day knowing that it's out there that you were a part in the brutal murder of 2 teenage girls? It's a joke. Jamie, I just don't know how to say it any plainer. You are absolutely right. Everything that's in that so-called Frank's motion is almost verbatim. 2 people, their Discord group and their Reddit group. And I know that to be factual. When I was reading it, I was like, my God, this is like so over the top. It was written in such a horrible manner of the English language. It was just incredibly unprofessional. And I'm like, who the heck drafted this? And the more you read it, it's like, wow, it's wrong, Sleuthy. Anybody that does that. It doesn't that there's no way that those people's names should be out there. Period. That's how I feel. And if you followed me, you would know that. Well, they can be a little cult now, but this case isn't over, and there are going to be charges brought for interference in this case. And there are some podcasters and some YouTubers that if it was me, I'd be just a little bit worried about some of the stuff that they've been involved in, because it is going to come out, and the state of Indiana has every right to bring charges against these people for interference in an investigation. Oh, it's so funny. Let them argue, Mitzi. Let them argue, because bring the evidence. Bring the evidence, you guys. Bring the evidence. Show us the evidence. You don't have it, so you can't show it. So it was early on, right after Baldwin and Rosie were appointed as the attorneys, that they made a public plea for anyone on social media, YouTube, anywhere that had information that would exonerate their client to please notify them. So out of the woodwork crawls the people who want to be a part of this case. I have no respect for these attorneys. I'm sorry. Absolutely none. There is a man dead because of them and their antics in this game. Judge Gull didn't do any of that. She didn't release crime scene photos, sleuthy goosey. The prosecution didn't release crime scene photos, but the defense did. And because of that, they're off the case. It's that simple. Those are the rules of the court. People need to go learn about paganism and Odinists, first of all. Odinists don't ritually kill people. That's the first thing. Good Lord. That memo was written using materials provided to the defense by YouTubers. And I know who they are. It's almost verbatim how they talk about the case. Good Lord Almighty. But anyway, it's hilarious, you know. I'm not going to it's gross for me to say that when I don't know the whole story, but it's okay for you. Wow. See ya. Oh. Hilarious. Hilarious. I think that people need to take a step back and look at the facts of the case. And it's just beyond it's just beyond me how the state of Indiana does things. I still shake my head because a lot of this is going on because of the way they keep everything so close to the vest, not only in their investigations, but you know, they aren't transparent when it comes to any investigation in Indiana. Oh, it's okay, Jamie. I can handle it. And it's like I can handle the trolls. And they can do whatever. I mean, I'm serious. People are entitled to their opinions, but they must remain respectful in my chats. I mean, they just need to be respectful. And for them to call out and say all the things that they're saying about everybody, they don't have any of the evidence in front of them. They're not privy to any of these filings and the exhibits. We didn't get to see the exhibits. Just because it's a list doesn't make it tell us what it is and what's in it. Hey, Lifeboat. But people know how I run my channel. If you haven't figured that out after a year and a half, almost 2 years, they're never going to understand how I run my channel. There are certain things that I will tolerate and certain things I won't. Hey, Tech Death. Oh, Purdue, I completely and absolutely 100% agree with you. I'm all for talking to anyone about anything and debating any subject, but you cannot hold on to and call out people for, well, why, show me this, show me that. You haven't seen it. Well, you haven't seen it either. But I'm here to tell you that Richard Allen's got some explaining to do. Who said that in chat? Was that Daisy? I don't remember who it was, but somebody said it. And everything that I know about the case, and everything that I know about Richard Allen and why they arrested him leads me to want to know more. I don't want him released. If you guys want him released, then I'm just going to throw it out there. You release him and let him babysit your children. Or you take him into your home on an ankle monitor and let him live at your house. Salty Beach, I totally and absolutely agree with you, but I guarantee you that something happened that caused this. And whether or not it was the actual release of these documents that he did and participated in, because he did, we do know that he felt horrible about what had happened. That's all I'm saying. We will never know what led this man to do what he did. But he was part of the leak. And he felt awful about it afterwards. And I feel bad for his family. I feel bad for his friends and the people who cared about him. And somebody has to take some responsibility. And at this point in time, it lays at the feet of the defense, because they're the ones who unprofessionally left crime scene photos where someone else could get to them. And I am here to tell you, if you were to do that in a government job, if somebody walked in and was able to get stuff off of your computer or take photographs of your workstation on a government job, you would be fired. Walked out the door with a box with your stuff. See ya. Goodbye. I also think it's interesting that his new defense attorneys, one of the attorneys was on a show last fall, I believe it was, and was talking about the unspent casing that was found between the girls, and said that he does believe in this science. It is not junk science. And I thought that that was quite interesting as a defense attorney, having that opinion, because we haven't heard that before. Yes, John, exactly. They were a team. You cannot remove one and not remove the other, because you don't know their culpability. And that's the thing, too. There's still an investigation into all of this, you guys. The state of Indiana is conducting, the Indiana State Police is conducting its own investigation into all of this. And I guarantee you, they haven't found out yet, because we don't know. But that's one of the questions that my judge friend had, was what's the attorney's culpability in this? Did they really know that someone was going to leak those photos? Was it done on purpose? And 63 Clocks, kudos to you for bringing it up, because it makes me sick. It makes me sick that people even look at them. What person wants to see the brutalization of two beautiful little girls? We don't have to see them. We're not investigators. We're not sitting on the jury. There's no reason for anyone to look at those pictures. And once they're on the web, they're there forever. You can't get them removed. It's not trivial. What happened is not trivial in any sense of the word. Thank you so much. V15, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And again, my heart goes out to Abby and Libby's families. We have a YouTuber who drew pictures based upon what she saw. And I don't understand it. I don't get it. Why? It just doesn't make any it just doesn't make any sense to me. And it really does anger me. If that was your child, would you want people seeing her in that fashion? Brutally murdered and naked, laying in the woods? It just breaks my heart. And as a mom who's lost a child and buried her child, I just can't. I just can't, you guys. It just it 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 just angers me because it's what I think about when I think about this case. It's what I think about first and foremost. I think about Becky. I think about Anna. I think about Carrie and Derek and their hearts. And you can't get that stuff back. And the other thing is with this case, you guys, they get one chance to do this. No prosecution goes into a double homicide case wanting a do-over. Hi, Bees9. How are you? And Lori, that could be considered concerning for sure. And as I said, if she has done inappropriate things and things that the Supreme Court finds that are reasons for her to be taken off the case, she will be. And if the Supreme Court rules that, then that's the rule of the law. That's the rule. We'll get a new judge and hopefully new attorneys and we'll start all over. Thank you, Gail. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for all of your support of my channel. I appreciate you so much. Hey, Boston, how are you? Haven't seen you for a while. Good to see you. But yeah, I mean, you know, for everybody who's all up in Judge Gull's business and thinks that, you know, she's the Antichrist or whatever, she didn't cause this. She's not the reason that this stuff all happened. Judge Gull is not the reason. She's the one who chose Baldwin and Rosie to defend Richard Allen. You know? I mean, she didn't cause this. I mean, it's just, It's just sad. Hey, I know what I wanted to tell you guys. Don't forget, my dear friend, the captain, put out a video. I think he's actually put out 2 now. You guys need to go watch him if you haven't already, because I love it. I love his thoughts. I love how he makes us think. Gull has done everything to try to get these attorneys back in line and let them know that this wasn't going to fly in her court. Hey, Frank Meister, how are you? Yes, the captain, howdy. Yes. And he's amazing, and I've missed his voice in this case because he really does make us think. And I love that about him. I just do. I also want to give a shout out. I got the most amazing birthday present. You guys, I'm serious. I can't, it came yesterday, but it was amazing. And you guys have to check out this website. All my ladies out there that watch my channel, you need to go here, and oh my gosh, I got some of the most amazing products. And I'm all about supporting small shops and independents. Go here, you guys, and check this place out. Oh my goodness. I got some of these brands, and I love it. I've already used the body wash. I've used the sugar scrub, and I've used the body lotion, and it is awesome. And like, I'm serious, you guys, it's called Spider Cake is the brand. And you guys, it's so incredible because it's all about Halloween, like all year long. I love it. So make sure you guys check that out because I think it's really cool. And I wanted to say that while I was thinking about it. Thanks, Mitzi. I admire strong women, period. I often think about when I think about justice and I think about strong women, I think of Ruth all the time. RBG, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. She was like a hero of mine. And what she did for women and her fight for women, her entire legal career is incredible. And she came about as an attorney and graduated from law school during a time when there weren't women attorneys. And she had to come up in the good old boy network of law. And she did it with grace and dignity and ethics. And, you know, all that we ask is that our brethren take their foot off of our necks. I mean, what's not to love about her? You know, she was amazing and a strong, strong woman. And there's many others. I mean, there are many other strong women in the law for sure. But I like when we have strong women who will stand up for what is right and speak out for what is right. And what I feel about this case and the passion that I have for Abby and Libby, yeah, I'm very passionate about it. I am. And my family would be the first ones to tell you that I am. And there's not a day that goes by that I'm not thinking about the girls or that I don't do something active on their case in some fashion. And even though I'm not online all the time and I'm not doing live streams all the time, I'm following this case. I'm notating all the actions and happenings about it in my notebooks. And I'm staying abreast on what is going on in the case. I think we have a while. I know that the new trial is set for October of 2024. I will be very shocked and surprised if the trial happens in 2024. And that's just my opinion with everything that's been going on. I hope that whoever said it earlier in chat, I can't remember if it was John or Tech Death, but if there turns out to be a plea deal or a plea, hopefully we find out what happened. So I just, there was, hold on, there was something I wanted to tell you. When was this? I'm just looking at something. Hold on, guys. The Supreme Court of Indiana filed a amending rules of trial procedure back in March of 2023, and the amendments the trial procedure does not take effect until January of 2024, but it is the Rule 74 for for recording proceedings, transcripts, audio recordings, machines, court reports, stenography reports, and what was interesting that I thought about this is that the recording devices or the computer-aided transcription equipment shall be selected and approved by the court and may be placed under the supervision and operation of the official court reporter. So, again, the judge is the court. When you hear in motions or arguments and they're talking about the court, before the court, the judge is the court. The judge is the law. The judge is the person who is upholding the law. And so she has every right to run her courtroom the way she sees fit. Now, if she has like I said, misstepped, the Supreme Court will rule on it. They'll remove her. We'll have a new judge. I think that's pretty much true, Jennifer, anywhere. That once people are charged and booked in the public eye, you're guilty. And I'm serious. I think that's everywhere. And especially in the court of public opinion. I mean, look at Nancy Grace, for God's sake. That woman vilifies anybody who's been arrested. She never acts as if they're innocent before proven guilty. So there you go. I said it right here. I'm not a fan of Nancy Grace. Sorry. But I'm in Illinois, and I'm telling you what, Indiana's got some really strange ways of doing things. But, you know, what can I say? It is what we have to deal with. We are dealing with a case that happened in Indiana, and we have to live with the Indiana law. And there's a lot of followers out there, you guys. A lot of followers. People who don't think for themselves, people who can't think for themselves, and people who choose not to think for themselves, and they just want to follow someone. So, David Gray, what's your point? We're not talking about politics on this channel. What is your point? Oh, there's no doubt that his attorneys wrote the letter and he signed it. Absolutely. Yeah, John, me either. I can't handle it. I just can't handle it. You know, I'm just like, there's corruption, David Gray, in any profession. You're going to find corruption. There's corruption in Carroll County. I have no doubt about it. There's corruption probably in Delphi City. Do I feel that the corruption has led to conspiracy and that they've railroaded an innocent man? No, absolutely not. Too many people would need to be involved to have that happen. God. Got that right, Mitzi. I didn't pick him either. But we're not going to talk politics on my channel. This is about Abby and Libby, and I don't want to get into a cockfight about ex-presidents and what's going on in the news, because the fact of the matter is that this doesn't have anything to do with it. Except the fact that the mindset. And I will say that back in 2016, the mindset in this country changed. The mindset in this country changed. People became more quick to question science. People decided that science was all bull. Nobody wants to believe science anymore. Nobody wants to believe anything anymore. Everything is a lie, and everything is not true. And I am just sick of it. I'm sick of that narrative. I am sick of those who believe that narrative. It's just me. I never said you were a troll. David. I never called you a troll. I just ask that you always remain respectful while you're in my chat. Yeah, they are, Frank. They've been here. They've been here. So everybody's, like I said, entitled is David is not a troll. No, David is not a troll. He's passionate about what he believes, and that's fine. He has reasons to believe the way he does. And, and I respect that of him. I just feel that there's a lot of drinking of the Kool-Aid. You're welcome, David. I appreciate you being here and supporting my channel. So, and we can always agree to disagree. We don't always have to agree on everything. So, and there's nothing wrong with having a grown-up adult discussion about things, but that's the point, grown-up discussion. My feeling is kind of like Sleuth Intuition's feeling on it. If you're going to come to me, don't bring me one-liners. Don't tell me his Sixth Amendment rights have been violated. Tell me how. Show me the evidence. David, I have absolutely no doubt at all that you're intelligent. I can tell that by how you speak. I can't say that about Richard Allen's defense team because their writing sucks. They would never have made it out of English class writing papers. Truffles is absolutely right. The facts and evidence matter. People have to be careful to avoid jumping to conclusions based on things that are not in evidence. And we haven't seen all the evidence because this case hasn't made it to court yet. And the prosecution hasn't shown all of its cards and evidence yet. The defense has seen it. But yeah, I agree with Truffles. Hey, Steve, how are you, my friend? Please send Mrs. Steve my love. I'm so glad that you guys are packing up and heading south so you can be closer to your grandbabies. I don't like the fact that you're going to be farther away from me, but oh well. But it's good to see you, my friend. You've been doing some really great work on your channel. Your live streams have been right on. Love it. I have to have you on the channel soon. I do. I miss your face. But I know you're busy. I know you guys are getting ready to head out and stuff. So you'll just have to let me know when you're all settled and you'll be able to come on. And we'll make it happen. Purdue's got it right. The opinion is based on the facts that we know. He has confessed to being on the bridge. He has confessed to the date and time that he was there. Coincides with the date and time of the murder. The unspent casing matches his gun, and he confessed to the crime to his wife and his mom. Sounds good, my friend. She's going to keep you busy. You're going to be hopping. You're going to be carrying boxes. Are you going to make Ruckus help? I think you should get Ruckus to help. I haven't seen Ruckus lately. I miss him. Oh my God, Mitzi, at least we have Tech Death's music to get us through, right? Yep, the state only has to prove that he kidnapped them off the bridge. That is correct. He's useless. He sleeps mostly. Oh no. Hey, Shadowbox. You're never too late. Good to see you, my friend. Steve, you crack me up. Oh, well, when you talk to him, please tell him I miss him. No, David, I know you're not making it up. But 27% doesn't mean that Richard Allen is part of that 27%. And you don't, homicide confessions, I'm sure that they're talking about, the 27%, are confessions that are made during interrogation with law enforcement. They're not people confessing to their mothers about killing 2 teenage girls in the woods. Do you think I'm making it up? He was fired from Walmart for very inappropriate behavior with women. I think that there's a side to Mr. Allen that we're not all privy to. I think there may be a side to Mr. Allen that he has been hiding. And I'm here to tell you that those kinds of things come out. And we just have to wait and see. As I said in the beginning, he is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. But everything that I've seen so far has me leaning to that he is the bridge guy. And there's just no doubt in my mind. And I do believe that this man is got secrets that nobody knew about, including his wife and family. So that's just me. But somebody asked me, I think it was Gail, about my spiders. And I will tell you that my spiders are doing fantastic. They're all thriving and doing well. So thank you for asking. And that photo comparison that Steve did was incredible. And I still say I remember my feeling on the road again. Yeah, no kidding. He's on the road again. Steve, do they have Waffle House in Florida? Will you miss out on your Waffle Houses if you move to Florida? I'm not up on Florida and what's down there, so you'd have to tell me. The few times I've been there, it's so oppressively humid that my asthma doesn't like it, and I have so much trouble breathing. Beautiful. It's a beautiful place, but too much humidity for this lady. What else was I going to say? I'm glad I came on tonight. Oh yeah. Okay, that's good. I didn't want you to have to not be able to take Mrs. Steve to dinner. And I know that you two like to go there. So I was glad. I'm glad to hear that. Oh, Mitzi, that's great. Steve is a good and dear friend. I can't say enough about him. I'm one of his biggest fans and supporters. I do believe I'm the first member of his channel. When his channel was open for membership, I was the very first person to subscribe to him as a member. And something I'm very proud of because he's done amazing things on his channel. I am fired up, Rescue. I worked out this afternoon and I got my second wind, I think, because I came home from the gym and I'm like, I am ready. It's not like I was kickboxing or anything, but man. Oh wow, Rose, I did not know. Do you know where it's going to be held? There is a walk for Flora on November 14th. You guys, I certainly will. Rose, if you could email me all the information, I would certainly love to have it. I will put out something in on my community page specifically for it. I'll do a flyer or something. Thanks, David. I am feeling strong. I'm feeling stronger every single day as the weight comes off and I am working out and using muscles that I haven't used in a long time. I am feeling wonderful. Steve feeds Mrs. Steve ice cream. Well, of course he does. Of course he does. That's what a good husband does. I think it's wonderful. I love to watch the two of them interact. I can just be a little bug on the wall. I can just imagine what those two are like. Her downing that Tyvek suit and him dragging her through the woods was enough for me. You can see their relationship. I'm walking David for an hour in the pool at the moment. My club has a lazy river as part of its aquaplex, and it has a current, and I walk an hour in there. So yeah, it is. It's wonderful. I love it. It's really good on my joints because my left knee is, I'm babying it, hoping I can hold off a little bit longer before I have to have surgery on my left knee because of the fall that I had a year ago, March, which was really bad. It was a really bad one, and I really screwed up my knee. But I'm trying to baby it along, and I'm doing the best I can. Well, you know what? There's nothing wrong with being fired up as long as, we keep it respectful and on point. And again, this is a battle for justice, you guys. There is a battle. Um, Oh, cool. Randy is awesome. 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 I just want to know where they're having it at, where they're doing the walk at, Tech Death. Do you know? Oh, hi, Robin. Thank you so much. No, the Supreme Court will not take over the case. They would appoint a new judge. They won't them physically themselves take over the case. I don't know about that. I might not be able to get my leg that high. But I won't forget, and I still won't forget what Mike Patty said last year after the announcement of Richard Allen's arrest. Oh, I love you too, Purdue, so much. So much. But Mike Patty, when asked how he felt now that they had the arrest after all these years, and Mike just looked right at the camera and at them and said, well, one part of this story is over, and now we have to head up a bigger hill that we don't know what that's going to be like, basically. Steve, I think that would be great. That will be great. She likes mint chocolate chip ice cream, huh? That is funny. Well, all I can say is that was pretty amazing stuff that you guys did. And I love all of your experiments. I'm anxious for your experiment when you do the how long it takes clothes to dry, because that's been another thing that's been nagging at me for years is wouldn't they have known if the girls were wet as far as clothing wise, because it was quite cold that night. And I would have thought that if the girls had been in the creek, their clothes would have been wet and then they would have frozen. The clothes would have frozen. So, yeah. So the Flora walk is going to be November 19th at 1 p.m. The Flora, you're going to meet at the corner of State Road 18 and Center Street. Thanks, CJK. So it's down the road from where the house was, which is now a hole in the ground. I was so sad that they tore it down 4 days before I got to Delphi for the memorial walk for the girls. So yeah, I will go ahead and put together a flyer and put that out on my community page, you guys, so that people know. But yeah, let everybody know, because the anniversary of Flora is coming up, and how sad, you guys, that we don't have any movement in the Flora case. I mean, it's just so sad. So sad. It really does upset me sometimes to see that. Sorry. Thank you so much, CJK. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I heard that beep and I was like, what is that noise? And it was you putting that in the Discord. But yeah, guys, that's really all I had tonight. I really just wanted to talk about what's been going on with the attorneys, what's going on with the judge, not to lose our heads over this. We're just going to have to watch this and watch it play out and see what happens. I don't think, even if Judge Gull gets replaced, if that were to happen. I do not believe that that's going to implode this case. I think there's a chance that they would reappoint a new judge. I definitely think so. That there's always a chance that they would do that, but I think it's going to be really interesting to see what happens. I don't, from what I know so far, and we may not know everything, but from what I know so far, I don't see a reason of why they would need to replace her. Would that mean that they would still do it? Obviously, the Supreme Courts do things all the time that we don't always agree with, correct? But yeah, I really miss you guys. I'm so glad that I got to spend the evening with you to talk about this. I'm glad that we did have, even though it seemed to be a lively conversation there for a little bit. Stephanie is absolutely right. People will just find things to say about the new judge, just like they will the new attorneys, the same thing. Because the people who don't like the narrative and want the narrative to be theirs and the way they believe are always going to bring the negativity, and they're gonna do everything they can to take away from that. And that's something that hey Daisy, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thanks a lot. You have a great evening as always. I think Judge Gull has done a bang-up job, in my opinion, with what she's had to deal with, especially since summer from these defense attorneys. So it's quite possible, Lala one. 63 clocks, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you as well. Yes, justice for Abby and Libby and the Flora girls. The Flora girls deserve justice so much. So much. And it really upsets me that we don't have movement in this case. It'll be 8 years. And it's just sickening to me. But yeah, I hope everyone has a great rest of your weekend, and always remember to be kind to one another. Look for ways. I mean, we're coming upon the holiday seasons. We've got Thanksgiving coming up, and then we have the holidays with everything going on in the world right now. My heart goes out to all the people who are fearful for their lives because of the unrest in the Middle East. All of those things are pressing, and we have all of this hate that is just it's just everywhere, and it saddens me so to see my grandsons growing up in this world with all of this hate. And no matter how much I try to shape them and teach them that is not the way, it is it is what the world is right now, and they're having to grow up in it. There are so many issues that we could discuss and talk about regarding all of that. But the bottom line is, when you can do better, and everyone has things that they can work on, right? We all are not perfect, and there's all things that we can work on. And I try to make a point of it each and every day to be a better me, and to be somebody that they'll be proud of when I'm gone for the things that I've done. And, you know, I try to be a voice in this genre for the voiceless, the victims who can no longer speak for themselves, the family members who, for whatever reason, may find it difficult to speak, which I can completely and absolutely understand. I just know that when we tell it factually, when we are sharing these stories, it matters how they're told. When I first came on YouTube, I followed a great female YouTuber who I still to this day, she is just, I love her heart. And she said how well their stories matter. And I believe that. And I really, really hope and pray that this battle that's raging right now for justice for Abby and Libby doesn't get completely side railed to where all people are thinking about is the judge and the attorneys, and they completely lose sight of the victims, the families, and Richard Allen, and the fact that he confessed to these crimes. So have a good one, you guys. I will see you all very soon. And thank you so much for being here. And everyone who catches this on the replay, I appreciate you all just as much. Thank you, everyone, for being here tonight. I so appreciate you. Good night, everybody.